Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching episode 54 of my Mystery Monthly Minis. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to episode 54 of my Mystery Monthly Minis. If you've seen this before and you know how it works, then you can just skip straight forward to the tasting. Otherwise, the way this works is I have over 100 samples in my sample collection and my wife has picked one at random. She's put it into a blue Glencairn glass and I'll nose it, I'll taste it, I'll tell you if I like it and I'll have a stab at what I think it is. This is just for fun, so sometimes I get it right and sometimes I get it wrong. Should we find out what I'm drinking? On to the whiskey. If you'd like to play along with me and find out what's in my glass when I do, then just keep watching. Otherwise, take a look in the description now for a sneak peek. Let's start with the nose. Okay, so this is lots of sweet toffee, like caramel. It's normally something I pick up with sherry whiskies. There's definitely a slightly sort of herbal, yeasty note in there. I'm getting like dusty cereal. Yeah, lots of cereal and sweetness. I'm not getting much more though. Yeah, it's just amplifying. Possibly high ABV on the nose. But yeah, not really getting anything else. Let's move on to the palate. Okay, this is interesting. There's lots of funky cereal. You know when you open a bag of birdseed or something like animal feed and you sort of grab a handful or you open the bag and you get like a waft of that sort of dusty cereal. Just as I picked up on the nose, on the palate it's really, really strong. It really is powerful. Along with some sweetness, which is quite fruity, like red fruits. But that cereal note is probably the most powerful like note of its type that I've picked up. When I've had this note before, it hasn't dominated and been so powerful like this one. Let's have another sip. Yeah, it makes me think it isn't a Scotch whisky. There's definitely a yeasty note, that, just like I picked up on the nose. I've had this on a few whiskies, most notably English whiskies, but I don't think it's unique to English whiskies. This note has a slight sourness to it. There's a slight astringency. I think this is a really unusual combination. The fact that it dominates, but yet there's also a sweetness in there from possibly a sherry of some sort. The ABV on this I think is probably not too high, maybe 50% max, but it's a little thin on the palate. I don't think this whiskey is very old, and I don't think it's Scotch whisky at this point. Let's have one final sip. There's a bit of me wondering whether or not this is all malted barley. Maybe there's another grain in there. Maybe it's entirely another grain, but I don't think it's rye at this point. Rye tends to be quite spicy. It tends to be quite linseed oily for me. But this potentially could have something that isn't malted barley, or something that isn't, you know, entirely malted barley. But I'm leaning away from Scotland. I think this is probably an English whiskey or somewhere from mainland Europe. I don't think it's overly old. I think there's something interesting about this, but I can't pinpoint it. It's not an unpleasant whiskey. It's quite nice. It's quite tasty. I don't think I could drink a lot of this though, because those yeasty, strong cereal notes are really quite powerful. But it's not that they're horrible. It's just that they're quite dominant, and I think they would fatigue the palate quite quickly. So I think this is a new world whiskey. It's going to be English or mainland Europe. I'm not going to pin down any further. I think it's probably around the 50% ABV mark. I think it's youngish, so it's going to be under 10 years old. And I think it's probably been aged or finished in some sort of sherry cask. Should we find out what's in my glass? Right, so it's a Highland single malt 19-year-old bottled by Artful Dodger. It's 55.8% ABV and it came to me via the London Whisky Club. Yeah, I was completely wrong with this one. Obviously ABV wise, I was a bit low. Age, I thought it was going to be younger. I thought it was New World, and obviously it's a Highland single malt. And yeah, you know what? Things like this are definitely sent to challenge us. I think, although it says Highland single malt, I think it's a Clynelish. I think it's being a London Whisky Club bottling, obviously it's an independent bottling of a whiskey. And I think this might have even come up on a previous Mystery Monthly Minis. But if it did, it would have been a long time ago. And that's the whole point in this. You know, the whole point in this series is to test me, test my palate, test my knowledge, and just have fun. And this is, yeah, not even close, but that's all part of the learning game. Obviously off camera I can take my time with the rest of this dram and I'll probably pick out lots of flavours. And now I know what it is, I'll, you know, the connections I make whilst drinking the rest of it will all make sense. But when you're doing it completely blind, you don't even have the colour for reference. It's, yeah, it really is a challenge, and yeah, sometimes you get it spectacularly wrong. If you tried this whiskey, let me know in the comments, and if you haven't, hopefully you found that interesting, and hopefully you'll come and see me again soon. Stauncher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.